So this is a video about how I keep Toontown fresh for myself. This video is pretty heavily inspired from Megasnoop's recent video titled Why I Quit Toontown. So one of the major points he touches on is he's done everything. He's gone through the game, he's maxed every suit and done every area that he could have done, and there's just nothing there for him and there's no content coming out basically. And that really got me thinking about myself and how I keep myself engaged and interested in the game, and that inspired me to make this video. So first off, I think anyone can say that for you to still be interested in the game in this day, you do have to have a certain love or affection for the game, in whatever measure that is. So for me, I've been playing the game on and off over the last 15 or so years, which is kind of insane to think about, but this game has always been a constant in my life, and I don't think that no matter how hard I try, I could just give that up. I played Toontown Rewritten pretty hardcore when I finally got my beta key in 2014 and played that quite a lot, and then I slowed down for a while, and at a point had hardly played the game in a good stretch of time. But I was thinking about the game at one point, and I got a random burst of inspiration to make a video that was hopefully at least somewhat comedic about toons not talking in factories and things like that, just based off of my own experience. So I went and I made a video called Toontown Rants Communication, and it actually did fairly well for what it was, and I enjoyed it, so I started trying to make more creative stuff like the fishing guide video I made. And then I was inspired in this area to continue to develop videos that I thought were interesting based on Toontown, leading me to develop a series concept that I had thought of doing back in 2014 on my original history videos, in which I'd cover the mysteries of Toontown. I plan on delving deeper and farther into rumors and myths that nobody's ever been able to see yet. For the sneak peek, I'll give you just a snapshot of one of the topics I'm going to cover in the video series. Seen here, it's one of the quick snapshots from the 2003 Toontown commercial. That led eventually to the release of the Toontown map video, the Toontown 2.0 video, and ultimately the growth and presence of my channel in this community. So would I still be playing Toontown if I had not hit this ride up? It's debatable, but probably not as much as I do now. But this is an example of one of the things that keep my interest in Toontown going. I don't do a whole lot of gameplay based content at this point. I do a lot of speculative or comedic or out there type based content on Toontown that I think is at least somewhat interesting in my own opinion. Now I will say that it's not always the easiest to find motivation or ideas for Toontown YouTubing, but the potential is there and I come up with ideas often enough. But here's the main other thing I found to do that keeps my interest in Toontown fresh. I love to think about Toontown. I love to come up with ideas and things to change or tweak or add to Toontown to make it a better game. I think a lot of us do the same, but back when Project Altus was shown to me, there was potential and willingness from that team back then to incorporate a lot of my feedback and decisions, and it was something that interested me enough to the point that I joined the team under the premise that I would help direct content. Now, it turned out a lot of the staff wasn't as great as I would hoped, and the entire project eventually flopped with a lot of my interest going away from it, but then Corporate Clash was born out of this failure. We brought new staff on, the good on the team stayed together, and I stayed on as content director and have been putting my full focus into driving as much direction as I can into the project ever since it all went down. Like the age-old sayings about failure where you learn from it and you grow from it, and right now I feel like Corporate Clash has learned and grown a lot from its predecessors' failures. And this is something that takes up a lot of my time, but is something so rewarding because I get to see ideas that are my own develop and flourish with this talented team. To the point where I'm spearheading the entire task line myself, trying to incorporate new things, differences, little things that are different, and trying to make dialogue in an overarching story that's enjoyable for people. I develop ideas and concepts and lay them all out. I even have several things that are planned for future updates that are based on my own concepts or things I wrote myself based on a few guidelines that I'm excited for. And I've also made a lot of concepts and ideas that the team are interested in that would be developed over potentially years if it's able to reach that point. It's something that a lot of people dream about, really. You grow up with the game and you imagine new content or bosses or playgrounds or tasks that you could never imagine yourself actually being in a place to direct, but that's where I am in being so involved with Toontown Corporate Clash. And then at this point I realize I'm very involved in this community, but I realize I almost hardly play in any time that I'm not on for a video or something of that sort. So I'm enjoying Toontown and what it has to offer, but I'm not actively playing that much. It's kind of weird to think about, but it just goes to show that you can keep a game fresh with not even playing it that much. At least I do for Toontown. And I honestly do feel like this will be able to hold me over until there's new content to be played and shown off, whether that's on Toontown Rewritten or at the launch of Corporate Clash. and so that's just what I find helps me keep the game fresh for myself. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time in my next video. I just want to also say a big thank you to Armadillo and Broadway Pixels for supporting me so much this month on my Patreon. It's really something that's so helpful in assisting me to have the ability to keep making videos each month and giving my time towards all of you guys here on YouTube, so thank you guys again, I really appreciate it.